Stop what you're doing. Seriously. Pause the scroll. Go get a cup of coffee. You need to be fully awake for this because what I'm about to show you isn't just another stock tip. It's a fundamental rewriting of the entire artificial intelligence narrative. You've been sold a dream of software and algorithms, but that dream is built on a physical reality that is hitting a hard, unyielding wall. We are witnessing the birth of the single greatest strategic bottleneck of the 21st century, and it has nothing to do with code. It has to do with a single ancient element. While everyone is frantically buying the chips, they've completely forgotten to buy the atoms. Without these specific atoms, the entire AI revolution is just a box of very expensive, very inert plastic and sand. Those atoms belong to one metal, silver. This is the story of the AI bottleneck, and why silver is the new semiconductor, the foundational physical component without which the entire digital edifice grinds to a halt. Let's be unequivocal. You cannot have artificial intelligence without silver, full stop. This is not a metaphor. It is materials science meeting computational necessity. The AI boom you see, the large language models, the generative tools, is a voracious physical consumer. It demands staggering electricity, generates unthinkable heat, and requires connections of impossible precision. At the nexus of all these demands, you find silver. Its role is so critical that we are approaching a point where AI's growth curve will be dictated not by software engineers, but by the global supply chain of a precious metal. We must dismantle the illusion. The public narrative is that AI is pure intellect, a ghost in the machine. But these abstractions run on hardware, extremely power-hungry hardware. At the heart are the GPUs, the Nvidia H100s, and their successors. These are city blocks of computing power etched onto silicon. Within these structures, where billions of transistors communicate at light speed, the limitations of common materials become a severe problem. Copper, the workhorse of conductivity, starts to fail at these microscopic scales. It suffers from electron scattering and heat. This is where silver enters, not as a luxury, but as a technical imperative. Silver possesses the highest electrical conductivity of any element. It has the lowest contact resistance. It has the highest thermal conductivity of any metal. These are not nice-to-have properties. They are the solution to the fundamental bottlenecks of high-performance computing. In advanced semiconductor packaging, the complex process of connecting the silicon die to the rest of the system, silver is now irreplaceable. It is used in silver sintering for die attach, creating bonds that must withstand immense thermal stress while providing perfect electrical pathways. It is used in the microscopic contacts within the chip package itself, where even a minuscule amount of resistance can throttle performance. As chips get more powerful and densely packed, moving to advanced 3D packaging where chiplets are stacked, the need for silver's perfect conductivity only intensifies. Every single leading-edge AI processor is becoming a significant consumer of silver. The amount per chip is small, sometimes milligrams. But when you are talking about millions of these chips deployed in clusters of tens of thousands, those milligrams compound into thousands of tons. This is the first leg of the demand tsunami, the chip-level imperative. The story doesn't end at the processor. That's just where the heat begins, literally. An AI data center is a different beast. A traditional server rack might draw 5-10 kilowatts. An AI server rack can draw 50, 80, even over 100 kilowatts. That's the power draw of a small neighborhood in a single unit. All that electricity is converted into an astronomical amount of heat. If that heat is not removed instantly, the chips throttle down or melt. This is the thermal barrier, the single greatest physical constraint on AI growth. You can design the most brilliant algorithm, but if you can't cool the hardware, it's worthless. This has forced a revolution in cooling. Air cooling is obsolete. The industry is racing towards liquid cooling, immersion cooling, and direct-to-chip cooling. And here silver's other supreme property, its peerless thermal conductivity, makes it the material of choice. The heat spreaders, the thermal interface materials, the cold plate surfaces, and the most advanced systems are increasingly leveraging silver to pull heat away from the silicon as efficiently as physically possible. The cooling system is now the critical enabler, and silver is its key component. So the second leg of demand comes from the thermal management arms race. Now, layer on the third driver, the power grid itself. All this electricity has to get to the data center. Silver is critical here too. Silver-based contacts are used in high-performance switches and circuit breakers for reliability. Silver is used in high-efficiency bus bars to minimize losses. As the AI build-out strains national grids, the push for greater electrical efficiency will only increase silver use. This is the embedded infrastructural demand few consider. We have a triple-engine demand rocket: advanced semiconductor packaging, mission-critical thermal management, and high-efficiency electrical infrastructure, all converging on one metal. Now, look at the supply side, and this is where the narrative shifts from compelling to critical. Silver is not mined for its role in AI. It is primarily a byproduct. Roughly 80% of global silver supply comes as a secondary metal from mines focused on zinc, lead, copper, and gold. This makes its supply notoriously inelastic. You cannot simply decide to produce more silver because AI demand is soaring. You have to decide to produce more copper or zinc and hope the ore body has favorable silver content. The lead time for a new major mine is 10 to 15 years. There is no switch to flip. Annual mine supply has been essentially stagnant for a decade. On the other side, demand is already robust without AI. Industrial demand has been setting records, driven massively by the green energy transition. Silver is the most conductive paste used in virtually every solar panel. Then you have investment and jewelry demand. The market has been in a structural supply deficit for years, with gaps filled by drawn-down stockpiles. Now, inject the AI demand curve. We are at the earliest stages. Analysts are only beginning to model this. Early estimates suggest AI and 5G-related demand could add tens of millions of ounces to annual consumption within a few years. In a market where the total annual supply is roughly 1 billion ounces, and the existing deficit is in the hundreds of millions, an additional persistent surge of even 50 or 100 million ounces is catastrophic for the balance. It is the equivalent of pouring a gallon of water into a cup that is already overflowing. This creates a strategic bottleneck of historic proportions. The growth ambitions of every tech giant are predicated on deploying millions of advanced GPUs. If the physical silver needed becomes scarce or prohibitively expensive, it forces a re-architecture of the entire technological stack. You cannot easily substitute silver. Attempts to use more copper come with severe performance penalties, lower conductivity, higher heat, slower speeds, which directly undermine the competitive advantage. This isn't like swapping batteries. This is like trying to build a Formula One engine with lawnmower parts. This leads to the investment implication. The market is currently valuing silver based on its past, as a hybrid, monetary, industrial metal. It is utterly unprepared to price silver based on its future. As a strategic, bottlenecked, non-substitutable input into the most important technological transformation of our time. The price today reflects none of this AI-driven demand. It is a price waiting for a catalyst. When the market realizes this disconnect, the repricing will be violent. It will be a series of supply chain shocks, an automaker outbid by a data center builder for silver paste, a chip foundry like TSMC securing a multi-year agreement for a huge portion of high-purity supply, a report showing the deficit has doubled due to unforeseen industrial demand. These events will act like lightning strikes, illuminating the true scarcity. We've seen microcosms before. The rush for palladium and catalytic converters created price moves of 500% plus because supply was inelastic and demand was mandated. AI demand for silver is mandated by the laws of physics and corporate arms races. It is a more powerful driver. So what does this mean? First, adjust your mental model of AI. See it as a physical commodity consumption story. Watch tech earnings calls for mentions of supply chain constraints for advanced materials or thermal design challenges. The clues will be there. Second, it provides a lens for the entire silver complex. Miners with reliable primary silver deposits become exponentially more valuable. They are mining the literal fuel for AI. Refiners producing ultra-high purity silver become choke points of immense value. Existing above-ground stockpiles become strategic reserves. Finally, it presents a profound asymmetry. The downside is defined by the current price, supported by decades of demand. The upside is defined by a brand new, multi-decade demand driver of incalculable size, layered on an already tight market. The famous investor Warren Buffett once said, "You only find out who is swimming naked when the tide goes out." In the coming years, the tide of easy, abundant materials is going out for the AI industry. Those who haven't secured their supply of the critical atoms, the silver, will be left exposed. The bottleneck isn't coming. It is here, and it is made of silver. The atoms are now more important than the algorithms. It's time to wake up to that reality.